on Tuesday. Trade deadline. Just this moment on McAfee was priceless.
Joining us live from a chaotic car ride, Adam Schefter's back. Shefty? Oh, he's on.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
Okay, who are you?
I love this.
There's more coming. There's more coming.
Okay, we'll call you back. We'll call you back. We'll call you back. We'll call you back.
He kept calling back. He kept calling back.
He's also the perfect guy to have that moment happen.
Yeah. Well,
you know?
He was calling back, and he kept calling back, and we got information coming in, and another trade happening, and I mean, it was.
For 15 years, I've said it over and over again. There is no better TV than Adam Schefter on his phone.
Yeah.
There is nothing people want more than that. He used to say it with Woj all the time. He'd be like, I'm sorry I took a call. He'd say, don't be sorry.
Most powerful man in the NFL.
People want to see you on the phone, and we'll get into it. Okay, you ready for this? It is time for math, people.
What?
Math equations. We're going to do mathematical equations. Dan Orlovsky, your favorite subject in school was math.
I was good at math,
And
yeah.
here it is. Here's our first mathematical equation. The Indianapolis Colts plus Sauce Gardner equals what?
The most pressure Daniel Jones has ever been under.
Wow.
Daniel Jones, this organization has said, we can go win it all because we've added Sauce Gardner. This organization publicly has said the picks of the future, we don't need them because we're going to trade for a player like Sauce Gardner. Also, the leverage when it comes to contract that we might have had, we don't need it anymore because we believe in you and Sauce Gardner. Yeah. Daniel Jones, even though you were drafted early, New York market pressure, you haven't felt pressure like this because you were Super Bowl contenders before. Now the expectation is to make a Super Bowl run.
Daniel Jones made the trade possible because they don't have to go draft a quarterback. Mm-hmm. They want to go bring him back. So when you think you have found your quarterback and you want to keep that, you don't have to devote a first-round draft pick to your quarterback in the next 2 years. So you can go trade 2 ones to go get a cornerback instead to help upgrade your defense. Daniel Jones made this trade possible.
And you also believe that you're going to be picking in the late 20s, or maybe if all the stars align, you're picking 32nd, and all of a sudden those are a little less valuable. All right, Hawk.
Let's do it.
The next mathematical equation is for you. Jack has redone the board. The Seattle Seahawks plus Rashid Shaheed equals what?
Legitimate NFC contenders.
Wow.
They were already like at the top tier, and I would argue if they had Rashid Shaheed in the 2 games they lost, they would have won those games. I don't think Football America realizes how good of a player this is, why he was on the Saints. He was undrafted out of Weber State. You're looking at the Seahawks, Mike McDonald, what he's done to their defense. Sam Darnold is playing even better than he did a year ago with the Vikings. We talked about JSN being otherworldly. Adding him to this equation makes their offense damn near unstoppable.
Dan, you had them a couple of weeks ago. I mean, are the Seahawks, I got people telling me they think the Seahawks are the best team in the NFC.
I have no debate over that. This is a fantastic football team. I think that there's 3 or 4 teams in the NFC that are clearly, like, if they play their best, you can see them going to the Super Bowl. It's the Philadelphia Eagles, it's the Detroit Lions, it's the Los Angeles Rams, and it absolutely is the Seattle Seahawks. They got, I would tell you, the deepest pass-catching group in the NFC right now.
Yep.
They got speed. They got a guy, JSN, who's as good as anybody right now. Cooper Kupp, 2 tight ends that are fantastic, and a defense that will absolutely kick you in the teeth. And Leonard Williams is one of the best defensive players in football this year.
Let's see if Darnold is ready to go toe-to-toe. The teams you just mentioned, Jalen Hurts is a Super Bowl champion, and Matthew Stafford is a Super Bowl champion. You got Goff, who's been around a really long time. Let's see if Darnold is ready for that. Why are we laughing?
Because I just realized we talked about Daniel Jones being the key to making the trade for Sauce Gardner. And Sam Darnold was the key to making that trade for Rashid Shaheed.
Yeah.
We got a chance.
These 2 New York quarterbacks that were essentially written off in New York.
Yes, I
are
know.
shining elsewhere.
Yes, it's so funny.
Quinnen Williams,
hilarious?
Gardner. New York just providing everybody with personnel. Quinnen Williams, Sauce Gardner.
They're like the SEC.
Exactly
Come
right.
play here, you're going to be really good in the NFL.
The Jets are a farm system for all these other teams. They're like the AAA.
The Giants, too.
Of the NFL, yeah.
I'm talking about New York being the feeder
I
system.
understand that, but I took that some kind of way. All right, here we go. Will, the last one is for you. Mathematical equation. The Dallas Cowboys plus Quinnen Williams equals what?
It equals you're in a dorm room and you finally put a futon in it, but in reality, you're still sleeping on a twin bed. At the end of the day, it's a confusing trade. You think you make it earlier in the year. Cowboys aren't winning the division. This is a runaway for the Philadelphia Eagles. But that is my analogy, having fun with this segment. Futon, dorm room, you're still sleeping on a twin.
Not an experience I'm accustomed to, so I don't know exactly what I think you're suggesting to me. This does not make them better enough to matter.
Yeah, everybody, the trades come in, there's a mixed bag on it. Some people are excited, and again, if you go to it, again, you think you're doing something big, but in reality, you're still in a dorm room. I'm going to continue to hammer home this analogy.
I like it.
You're going to make it twin bed.
You got to just
Quinnen Williams
beat it
is a terrific
down.
player.
Yeah.
No one's questioning that he's a terrific player.
Yeah.
But, Seth Walder, who writes a column for us on ESPN, wrote a piece in which he said for a team with a 7% chance of making the playoffs, which is what our analytics say, to trade a 1 and a 2 during the season to get an excellent defensive tackle is a very difficult one to understand. Does anyone here understand it?
I would say, I think that two things can be true here. And I think that can be true. And you wonder why this move wasn't made weeks ago when there were other moves before the trade deadline being made, like the Bengals traded for Joe Flacco almost a month ago.
Right.
The Dallas Cowboys had these draft picks and cap space to go make these moves. But I think on the other side, Quinnen Williams is a dynamic player. I happened to be on the phone the other day with a GM after this trade had been made, and we were talking about the compensation involved. And I said, that's a lot. And the GM himself said, not really, not for a player like Quinnen Williams. So, yes, you say, well, why would you make this move now, this late in the season, when your playoff chances are diminished? But on the flip side, you say, hey, you're getting a frontline defensive tackle who can really upgrade this defense.
Yeah. Who's been the second best player on the Cowboys this year?
I mean, besides Dak, you're talking? I mean,
Dak's been the best
Dak
player.
is first, and then
Dak, you got CD,
who are
George
you leading?
Pickens.
George Pickens.
How are you going to afford George Pickens now?
Oh, well, that's a whole other question.
They're not a playoff team, okay? I still stand by that. But if we're saying this is for the future, Pickens has been fantastic this year for them.
He has been.
How are they going to afford him? Back to where they were.
Shefty, do you know if they were trying to make trades like this earlier before it gets to the deadline?
I'm sure there were discussions, but take a look at next year, to Dan's point, and take a look where the Dallas Cowboys are projected to be in 2026. They are projected to be $78.3 million over the cap right now, over the cap, including the $21.7 million cap charge that they took on this week. So now you head into the offseason having to trim off $78.3 million. Now, you can restructure Dak and
3D tackles on
play it out, right? $76 million, you're going to be able to get some money. But they're going to be limited in what they can do. So
if we're saying the trade is a little bit about the future, if no one's really pounding the table,
it also handcuffs them in the future, right?
That's just their
because
reality.
They're
right
taking
now.
another big contract.
I think some of it as well, and I don't know when Quinnen Williams was made available, but he is one of those above the line guys. At the moment he becomes available, you get in the war room and you figure out what can we do to put this person on our roster. And to your point about George Pickens, who's been phenomenal this season, wouldn't look at George Pickens, who is the second option at wide receiver, and Quinnen Williams, who could literally change the face of their defense for the years to come, as things you choose between. To me, Quinnen wins that battle if you're saying is it an either-or thing, and if it becomes available, that's a chance you take going in.
Can I get in one more thing? You said something at the very beginning of the show. I said I want to come back to it. This is the moment to come back to it. You talked about how the Buffalo Bills have a superstar quarterback, Josh Allen. No one debates it. You talk about how the Patriots seem to have an emerging superstar quarterback in Drake May. Certainly seems like it's going that way. Yeah. And then you said the Jets, with their 5 first-round picks in the next 3 drafts, are going to get their next quarterback, and that's something the league has to worry about. I can tell you right now that if I showed you my phone, all of the Jets little group text chats that I'm on, all my Jet fan friends, including Alan Hahn on the radio in New York, said to me the other day, the quarterback they want is Joe Burrow. That they think these delusional Jet fan friends of mine believe that with all these picks, they're going to pry Joe Burrow out of a situation in Cincinnati. And I keep telling them that is ludicrous. But I feel like I owe it to them to at least bring it up at the table.
To look for hope.
Well, here's what I would say to you right now. We have the New York Jets sitting here with 5 first-round draft picks the next 2 years, with the capability of doing whatever they want at the quarterback position. We have the Los Angeles Rams sitting here this offseason with 2 first-round draft picks. We have the Cleveland Browns sitting here this offseason with 2 first-round draft picks. We have maybe an extra quarterback in San Francisco. You're raising a question about Joe Burrow. There's questions in Arizona. We still are waiting for Trevor Lawrence to prove himself. This is a league that always has quarterback questions. This now, as much as ever, feels like an arms race with teams positioning themselves to make big moves for quarterbacks, whoever they are, whenever they are. We saw this week that anybody can be had. We saw that teams are willing to go nuts to get their guy. So why is it going to stop there? When it starts there, it's not going to stop. It's only going to increase. And there are some teams out there that have some major ammunition to go dangle to make things happen.
Not anybody can be.
That was beautiful.
Joe Burrow cannot. No way. Jets, try all you want.
I think it would be crazy for the Bengals to trade Joe Burrow.
Outrageous.
That being said, he's ended the last 3 seasons, they won't make the playoffs. He's ended 3 seasons on IR. If you're able to get a king's ransom, I could see it not being a 0%.
Do you think Joe?
I don't think it's smart. I was there when Carson Palmer.
Let me ask you a
refused to
question.
come to camp,
How do you think
and
Joe?
we had Andy Dalton, and we flipped all these draft picks into what is probably the most successful stretch for Bengals franchise history from 2011 to 2016.
Go, Shefty, go.
We're just talking. How do you think Joe Burrow feels about the Bengals defense and the offensive line that's protected?
I'm asking you a question. If I were Joe Burrow, I would want out of Cincinnati.
You would?
Yes. If I were Joe Burrow, that doesn't mean Cincinnati would be obliging to that.
Hold on. That's where it gets interesting. Because if that's what he wants, and we have no idea what he wants, but if that's what he wants, it's over. It's over.
Wow.
And we have finally awakened our favorite,
Really?
companion, Salty Shefty,
Yes.
has entered the conversation. And there's nothing we love more.
Yeah, if
Once again.
any player,
I get your point. Yep.
any player,
Yep.
any player, when they're determined enough, if they want out, they're going to get out.
Micah.